Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hogue, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
I'm AJ Hogue, author of Effortless English. Learn to speak English like a native, father of the Effortless English system. My VIP program trains you to speak English fluently, to speak English powerfully, to speak English confidently, and you will speak English effortlessly. With my VIP program, you must commit, don't quit. Commit, don't quit at effortlessenglishclub.com. effortlessenglishclub.com. Hello. No topic today. I was not expecting to do a show today. I was ready to go to the airport, pick up my sister. Her flight was canceled because of the typhoon. So she's stuck in China right now for one night. She'll be coming tomorrow. So sucks. She's had a long, terrible trip so far. Lots of bad luck on her trip. But anyway, so I'm back home unexpectedly. So I thought, well, I'm not really prepared to do show about the book club. I need to reread the next chapter. So I thought, well, I'll just casually chat with you. I don't do casual chats on video so much, so I'll do it. Why not? What's strange is that really we did not have much of a typhoon here. Just raining. There was no strong wind in Osaka. Even the rain was not that much. Not that bad, just normal rain. Just feels like a normal rainy day. So I have no idea why they canceled all the flights. They canceled all the flights into Osaka tonight. It's crazy. They're probably being extra careful, but it's kind of crazy. It's unfortunate for my sister, my poor sister. Oh, well, and my niece there. But they got a hotel. They finally got a hotel. I'm texting with my sister, texting her, trying to help her figure out what to do and, how to get out of the airport. First, she thought she couldn't leave the airport without a visa. Finally, I did some research. I found out she can get a transit visa so she can leave the airport for, I think, 3 days. And I found a hotel for her and booked her hotel for her, and now they just got to their hotel. So they're good now. I'm at home, not doing anything. So, hi everybody. I'm just going to chat with you. If you're listening and you don't want to listen to a casual chat with no topic, just skip this show, okay? Skip it and wait till the next one or listen to an old one. So I'm just going to look at your comments and chat. Maybe I'll answer some of the more unusual questions that I usually ignore. Let's see what we got here. All right, lots of people just saying hello. So hi to everybody that's saying hello live. I'm live on YouTube as usual. Please name me in your conversation. AJ, your student from Philippines. Yomer, good to see you. You look good in your t-shirt. Thanks, Sriracha. Casual day today. More casual than normal. I'm always casual, but a little more casual. Here's a good comment. This is a good observation. Maimoons Shamoy says, AJ, you're looking very energetic today. Yes. Can you guess why? Can you guess why I seem much more energetic today? There's a very good reason that I'm more energetic than recently, than usual. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. Good to see you guys. All right, well, I'm just going to answer, like I said, I'll answer even unusual questions today. I need to improve this one's not so unusual, but anyway, Rana says, I need to improve skills at work. Please help me. I'm a PA. I'm guessing what is that? Production assistant or personal assistant of a GM, general manager, at an Indian, so I guess this person's Indian, from India, and can't express what I want to say correctly. Okay. Got it. You're in a business environment, and speaking is your is the problem. I think, as I usually recommend, you need to do a lot of listening to topics, especially to audios and reading too, but connected to specifically to your work. I don't know what, GM, general manager, I don't know what kind of company, but you've got to find material, find audios, find reading material about the topics that you usually talk about or that your boss usually needs to discuss. Maybe it's podcasts, maybe it's books, maybe it's articles. I don't know what it is, but you want to do high intensity. Join our challenge. You can still join now, even though we're past the halfway. It doesn't matter. Just do as much listening and reading as you can until really as long as you want, but our challenge ends at the end of November. So for the next 6 weeks, you can really do a high amount every day, meaning a high number of hours per day, doing a huge amount of listening and reading, but for you, specifically on these topics of business, and especially business that's connected to your job. So that's number one. And then the next thing you'll do, the next step, and it's our next challenge, in fact, that's coming, will be about speaking. So you'll want to do lots and lots of shadowing. You can take some of the same audios that you were listening to and repeating a lot, and then you're going to do shadowing where you're listening and speaking along with the audio at the same time, trying to copy the speaker. I mean, those two things, that's really it. It's a 1-2 step. I'd say you want to have at least sometime. 6 weeks is, not super long, but might help. 6 weeks of very intensive listening and reading, and then get focused on that shadowing and the speaking. Yeah, Jermila says, AJ, finally live show. You're okay. Typhoon didn't catch your home. No, nothing. Nothing. Not even strong wind. Last night when I did the show, that was the strongest wind. It was not even raining yet, and it wasn't so strong. And then today, when the typhoon hit Japan, we got very little in Osaka. Like I said, it's just a normal rainy day, really. There's no strong wind. Even the rain's not so strong. It's fine. Nothing at all. I don't know. The rest of Japan, I don't know. I think Tokyo was supposed to get hit more strongly, but I'm not sure. But for us, really nothing. But they still canceled all the flights. Oh, okay. Here's a little slang, guys. This is a nice one. Ranjan. How can I use triggered as a verb in a sentence? Okay. Nice. Trigger. Okay, to trigger someone means to make them really upset. And it has a little bit of political idea too, where you'll see this in a lot of the, especially the SJWs, the social justice warriors, the crazy Marxist type people in America. They're so sensitive. They can't handle hearing some topics. They can't even handle to hear the truth about some topics. And if you just mention the truth, for example, there are men and there are women, and men cannot become women, and women cannot become men. Basic biological truth. But if you mention that, they will be triggered, right? You will trigger them. Meaning what? They'll go, oh my God, and they'll get really emotional and upset. So that's what it means. To trigger someone means cause them to become very emotional and upset. Usually in some kind of social or political topic is how it's used normally. Not just a personal thing, right? But something like that. The transgender thing is perfect. That's a common way you can trigger these left-wing crazy people, is just to say the truth and they will go, ah! And you trigger them. They're very easy to trigger. It's kind of fun sometimes to trigger them. And watch them go crazy. Okay, so Paulika confirms that Bob the Canadian pronounces and emphasizes, not only pronounces, but emphasizes the T in often. He says often with a strong, strong T. Yes. Maybe he was trained as an actor. This is called enunciation. And you will sometimes find, especially with performers, especially actors, I would say like Shakespearean actors, very classically trained actors, that they almost overpronounce words. Like they try to perfectly pronounce every word and each sound in the word. So while normal people will just say often, and they'll drop the T sound because it's faster, because it's easier. I don't know why, but we do. But then you might find someone who's trying to enunciate very clearly and perfectly that they will say that T sound often. You will hear, like the best example I know is, for example, Patrick Stewart. So he's in the news because they're making a new, like a Star Trek. I think it's a mini series called Picard, if you guys know about Star Trek. Well, Patrick Stewart plays that character. He is a classically trained Shakespearean actor. And he does this sometimes. His way of speaking, he will almost overpronounce words, right? Where he's very clearly pronouncing everything exactly. And, you know, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not bad. It's not wrong. But it's not so common because regular people, we push words together. We drop sounds. You know, all these things you guys know about. And I know they're frustrating for learners sometimes because you will hear the dictionary pronunciation often, especially, right? Sometimes we add sounds like especially. We'll add a K sound. Often we drop the T. Water, the word water, right? I'm drinking water right now. We pronounce it with a D, even though it's spelled with a T. So that's what normal people do. But sometimes these people who are trying to pronounce very, very clearly, they might say water, and they might pronounce that with a very clear, strong T sound. It's not wrong, but it's kind of almost too much, right? Because normal people just change it to a D. At least Americans. And I think North Americans. Canadians and Americans sound quite similar. So anyway, I don't know if that's what he's doing. I don't know if Canadians do that more. I'm not sure. I've never noticed it before. Oh, this is nice. Ramatullah says, please tell people I love you so much. I'm your student from Afghanistan. Ramatullah Navid. Thank you. That's very nice. Hello from Pisa in Italy and little sunflowers. That's cute. Thank you. HJ from, me. That's me. Hi, AJ. From Pisa in Italy from Rosalie. Very nice. Famous place. International check. Does she speak Chinese? Does my sister speak Chinese? No. No. None. 0. She's not happy. She's not happy. She's had a long, long flight and then a lot of stress and then her flight's canceled and then now trying to figure out a hotel. And oh man, they've had a terrible time getting here so far. They're still not here. I feel so bad. I've had, if you've traveled, you've had days like this. I've had plenty of these kind of situations and it's no fun. It's exhausting. Emmanuel asking, everything okay? Injured? Yeah, no problems, Osaka. There's basically no typhoon here. Yeah, here's another China flight hell story from Vladislav. I had a terrible experience in China 5 years ago. My flight was not direct. My first flight delayed. I was late for the next flight. Next flight, I waited 24 hours. Same for my sister. She has to wait 24 hours to get the next flight. It's terrible. Yeah. AJ, have you been in China before? No. Not the mainland. I've been to Hong Kong, which is kind of... Is it China? I don't know. It depends who you ask. Ask the Hong Kong people. They may say no. And I've been to Taiwan, which is obviously a different country. But I have not been in mainland China. Ding, 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 ding. Here's the reason people answering my question. Why did I sleep? You were alone yesterday night. That's right. No babies to wake me up. And Lisa says guessed also because you slept well. That's right. Good guesses. You all know. That's exactly right. I finally got, in fact, I slept 11 hours last night. I slept 11 hours. I slept 6 hours. I woke up, got a drink of water, and went back to bed and slept another like 5 hours. So I feel fantastic today. Not woken up. No babies woke me up. Okay. Oh, well, this is interesting. I never asked this question before. I study overseas in Vietnam. How can I learn their language? I have zero Vietnamese. What should I do? I don't know, because I don't know of any good Vietnamese like mini stories or sites. Even Link, they don't have Vietnamese, I don't think. I'm pretty sure they don't. I don't know of any mini stories. I don't know. It's a little tough. You're going to have to, I'd say, learn to read. The good news is reading Vietnamese is easy compared to, say, Chinese or Japanese or Arabic, because they use, just the Latin letters, which is great. So you're going to have to find some really easy Vietnamese material, stories or something that has text. And then you'll need to use, you're going to have to use a dictionary, an online dictionary, type in the words you don't know, maybe all of them in the beginning, and kind of learn that, and then go listen to the audio, read it again. And you're going to have to do that for a little while, probably just by yourself. It's a little slower than doing it online. You might be able to find some stuff online with audio and write and text. So it's kind of the same method, but you have to just do it all by yourself, which is a lot more work. That's the problem, right? Like, I can do it in Spanish, but it's nice to get Oscar's lessons. He did everything for me. I have all the text. I have all the translations and the meaning. I have the audio. It's all there. I don't need to do anything. Just put play, and I hit play and listen. That's all I have to do. So that's why I like these things. That's why I made Effortless English, these courses. There's no work for you. Oh, Elena says, you would like to visit your grandma's country of Moldova. I would like to visit. I think my sister would be interested, too. I invite you to Moldova. Thank you. Someday, maybe I'll go. That would be very interesting. I'd like to go to Moldova because of family. I'd like to go to Germany. That's my grandfather's family, German. I'd like to go to Denmark, my other grandmother's family. And I'd like to go to Scotland, which is the Hogue family, my dad's family. What's the difference between tricky and hard? I mean, they can be used in a similar way. Hard just means difficult, right? Not easy to do. Tricky has the idea, it can have that idea also, but it also has the idea, tricky also has the idea of being complicated. So hard, like running a marathon is hard. Right? Running for 26 miles, running for 4 hours. That's hard, physically hard. It's not tricky. It's very simple, right? You just run. There's no trickiness about it. Learning kanji, learning the Japanese characters, is both. Is hard. It's also tricky because it's kind of complicated and difficult to figure out sometimes. So that's the difference. Hey, good to see you, Bufendra. Nice to see you. Oh, Paulika says, I know you like fantasy sci-fi. Have you ever heard about The Witcher Saga by Andrzej Sapkowski? It's kind of interesting, very famous story in Poland. I highly recommend you read it. I will. Is there a video game based on that? I think I've seen a video game with that name. I'm not sure, but I'll check it out. Thank you, Paulika. That sounds interesting. The Witcher. All right. Well, this is a very interesting question. Ahmad says, what are the needed tools and study materials to start a language center? A language center. So a place you would teach language, I guess. Well, I would do it differently than most people do it. So it depends how you want to do it. I mean, at the very basic, simple level, you need a whiteboard. That's all. Chairs. Okay? A whiteboard and chairs. If you have no money, a whiteboard and chairs and some pens. And then just use the storytelling technique, TPRS. That's all. If you have a lot of money, a lot more money, you could add, I don't know. What I would do is I would teach a class in the classroom, teach a story, and I would have a microphone, portable microphone. Just put one that attaches, or a boom mic, something like that. And I would record myself teaching the story in the class. Then I would upload the audio to a website for the students, maybe a private area, for the students. Only your students can get. So they can download the recording of the class so they can listen to the same story again at home. That's their homework. That's what I would do. So they would get the live mini story in the class, which is a lot of fun. Should be interactive. Get them shouting answers and helping you with the story. And then after that, they go home and they can download the audio of that same class of your story, and they can listen to it several times to get that repetition. And then the next class, of course, you do a new story. That's what I would do. And all that's pretty cheap. Thanks, Bufendra. Good to see you too. When will you come to India? Asks Bufendra. I don't know. It's been in my head for quite a while. I want to go back to India. Just keep, right now a little busy with babies. There is no topic today. Someone is asking, what's the topic? Okay, so a frequent question I get about teaching children how to do it. Stories. I mean, if you are teaching them yourself, then you use stories, and you can do storybooks too. That would be the best way to teach them. Make it fun. Depends on the age, Obviously, 5-year-olds you're just going to kind of play. But if they're 12, they can handle more. Okay, Emmanuel always has interesting questions. Emmanuel, you always have interesting questions. That's why I like your questions, and I'm constantly answering them. I need your advice. How do I deal with morons on the internet? Because anytime I get on Gab, I always get threats and insults by strangers. Okay, block them. That's how you deal with them. You block them immediately. Don't respond. You don't even reply. Never reply. Block. Block. Every time, aggressively. Okay, so this happened to me on Gab for maybe 1 month. But I have very aggressively block. Same in our group. If anybody comes into our Effortless English group and they make a little bit of a negative comment, or they're being a troll, or they're being annoying, blocked immediately. So after 1 month of blocking, I basically no one bothers me. I have no problems now. It's been probably, I don't know, it's been weeks and weeks since I had someone. So usually you have to block very aggressively for a little while, maybe a month or 6 weeks. And then after that, most of them have been blocked. So after that, you won't have much problem. So just block. Do not reply to them. There's no point. That's what they want. They want attention. So give them none. Just block them. Well, this is interesting. I mean, it is a topic I like. Please make a web series on American history, its impact on America and the whole world. Of course, that's a huge topic, but I'm not a super expert. I mean, I enjoy American history. I enjoy history in general. But yeah, maybe I'll think about it. Like I've said before, I think maybe choosing some specific part of American history, something, kind of making it more narrow. Like the Civil War is a good one. The revolution is a good one. The banking, a really important one. You ask about the impact of America on the world. The banking, the history of the bank, the central bank in America, which is called the Federal Reserve. But before the Federal Reserve, they tried to do a different bank. Of course, that really goes more back to England, is where it really started. The banking system that controls the world now, it started with, I think it was Nathaniel Rothschild controlling the Bank of England. And this system we have now, this globalist system, which is controlled by the banking families. Of course, it can go back earlier than that, but certainly we can very clearly see the history of it going to the Bank of England, which it was right around the time of Napoleon, 1815, something like that. And then from there, they tried to make a central bank in the United States. Maybe our best president, one of the best, Andrew Jackson, stopped them. They tried to kill him and they failed. So that stopped the bank for a while, like 60 years. But then they did it again. And finally in 1912, these banking families, the Rothschilds, the Roosevelt, in America, it was not the Roosevelts, the Rockefellers, the Warburg family, a few others, finally created the Federal Reserve Bank. They used a lot of bribery. They used assassinations. They did all kinds of things to get that. And since 1912, America stopped being a republic at that time. You can see then very quickly after 1912 that we kind of lost our country. World War I was only 6 years after that. And nobody in America wanted World War I. But then they created all these lies and through the media companies they bought and controlled to push America into World War I. And then they did it again in World War II. And so, that would be a very interesting history. That's the one I would like to talk about. So I'll think about it. I need to research it more. Thank you, Fernando, for the super chat, by the way. So the history of that central bank that I like I said, it might go earlier. It's just harder to figure out before how did the Rothschild family get so big even before they controlled the Bank of England? But what they did is they were already powerful, the Rothschild family in Europe, and they were giving money to all sides in the Napoleonic Wars. They were giving money to Napoleon, they were giving money to the British and others, and they had a huge spy network. And what they did is they with their spy network, they used it to make huge amounts of money in the stock market, the stocks at that time. British in London especially. And there's a whole story about Waterloo, that the Rothschild family, they found out the result of the Waterloo battle before everybody else because they had spies there and their spies were very fast. And so based on the result of the battle, they made investments. And I don't know the details. I have to look into this more, but that this helped them take control of the England Bank, which of course at that time, that was the British Empire. They were the biggest, strongest empire and bank in the world at that time, especially after Napoleon was defeated. So from there, England became the superpower. And, they realized, I think, that America would eventually become a big power because America had so much land, so much wealth, was so big. And so they tried and tried and tried to create this bank that they controlled in America. As I said, they tried it, and one of a great American heroes stopped them, Andrew Jackson. He's on our money. He's on the $20 bill. And, but, he only delayed it because one of our worst presidents, maybe the worst ever, Wilson, finally let them do it. That bastard. So anyway, it would be interesting to look into that history. And of course, now they control all the central banks, every single country in the world, almost every country. A couple that they don't control. I think Iran is one they don't control. I'm not sure about that. Paulika says, yes, there are 3 video games connected to the story. All right, I'll try to find the books. So I was right about The Witcher. The Witcher. Oh, there's a PS5 coming out. I don't know about the PS5. Emmanuel's asking about this, speaking of video games. Are most Japan folks excited about the new PS5? They might be, like younger people especially. But I don't know. Nobody I know. But that's because, my nieces and nephews are very young. And then the rest of my family's older here. So that kind of video game age where most of the fans are kind of teenagers and 20s. I don't know many Japanese in that age group, so I'm not sure. There probably are. I'm sure anyone who's into video games, they're probably excited about the PS5. Okay. Duke says, I have a baby soon, want to raise my child bilingual. When do I start teaching my kid? Well, so there are different ways to do it, but the easiest way is called one parent, one language. One parent, OPOL. One parent, one language. So that's where, I don't know about your wife, but whichever, you or your wife, whichever speaks English better, has the best English, you will speak English to your baby just all the time. Always speaking English, only English. And the other parent would speak, I guess you're Vietnamese, I'm guessing, so the other parent would speak Vietnamese all the time. That's it. That's what we're doing with our children. So my wife will speak, and is already, my children are only 6 months, but she's already speaking, I don't know about only, but she mostly speaks Japanese to them, and I only speak English to them. And that's all. That's all you do. That's it. You don't need to do lessons. You don't need to do anything else. Just do that. Just like you normally would. Just normal parent stuff. Have you ever been to Egypt? I have not, Ahmad. So anyway, I want to thank these super chats are very nice. Thank you, Fernando Milao. It's very nice. Thank you. Here's a question. I'm not sure. I don't even know the answer to this. What is the difference between the term banknote and paper money? I think it's basically the same. I don't know. There might be a technical difference, right? Like if you ask a banker or somebody, maybe they can tell you there's a difference. But in my mind, they're basically the same thing. Okay, so now Radwan has a little bit different problem in terms of children. How to teach my daughter English. She's 10 years old. All right, 10. She's facing a problem. So I guess she's taking English classes. You say if she's facing a problem, I'm guessing that's probably why. And it's because her classes suck. Okay? That's why she's facing a problem. Every kid in that class is facing a problem. So what does she need to do? She's got to find some easy, fun, zero stress English to listen to. That's what she needs. So I would say cartoons, anime, stuff like that. She should listen to in English. If even with subtitles in your language, not dubbed in your language, but subtitles. So it's in English, but even if it has your language underneath, that's super low stress. She can listen to it, and she'll still get at least she'll get the sounds of English coming into her ears a lot while she watches this anime. That might be the first step, especially if she's stressed out. I would say do that. Will she learn a lot of vocab that way? No, probably not, but she'll at least get used to the English, the rhythm, the sounds, all that. English will feel more natural to her by doing that a lot. She can just enjoy the anime. Step 2 then would be she would maybe watch the same anime, but only English subtitles. Right, now she has to learn to read English first. So if she can't do that, then I would recommend first learning to read English. It's called Leapfrog. 1 second. I'll be right back. Oh, well, sorry. Can't find it. I have a DVD. There's Leapfrog, L-E-A-P, Leap Frog, F-R-O-G. It just means jumping frog. But it's the company name. And Leapfrog has some little videos about phonics. It's called phonics. It just teaches the sounds of the letters, and then the more advanced ones teach how to read words. So that's step one. If she can't read words, then she has to do that. They also have books about this, but DVDs are really easy. So she could watch Leapfrog and learn to read, and then she could watch the same anime again, but the same anime using English subtitles only, so no subtitles in her language. That would be step 2. And she would, she won't understand everything, of course not, but she can learn a few words this way. And she already watched it in her own language first with the subtitles. So that's what I'm doing right now in Japanese. So that's what I would recommend for her. And then later, something like some mini stories, maybe step 3 would be she could try maybe my original course. That might be a little too difficult. Flow English, flowenglish.com. That might be the best one for her to go with, which is mostly mini stories. It's kind of the easiest one that I know. And I help make those. Half of those are mine. Half are Chris Moses, who actually owns those. So that would be step 3 for her. That's what I recommend for a kid about that age. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, so in that range. At what age did you start wearing glasses? I only wear glasses to read. I can, like long distance, I can see very well. But for reading, it was, 4 years ago. But it's because the reason I wear glasses to read, this was a sacrifice a little bit. It was a choice. Growing up, mostly I could not see far. Right? I could read very easily, very close. But far, I had to wear glasses. So I had to wear glasses almost all the time. And then finally, I had that surgery, for my eyes, called LASIK, to help so I could see a long distance. But the doctor said if you do the surgery, you can see a long distance. You can see you will see very well, but probably you will need reading glasses. It will change your eyesight, and you'll have trouble with close up, and that's what happened. But I'd rather reading glasses. I only need sometimes, so I don't mind. Oh, asking about the twins here. Oh, AJ, this is from Arun. You're not only a good English trainer, you're a great human, helps everyone to live life healthy and happily. I want to meet you once in my life. How are your little twins? They're doing very well. They're with their mom. You look cool after clean shave. Thank you. All right. Yeah, right. So like Faisan Rao is agreeing that covers specific topics of American history. I like that. It's a good idea. Oh, got another super chat. Thank you. This one's from, I got to try to read this. I need to learn the Cyrillic alphabet, guys. I can't read it. I'm not sure how you pronounce that letter. Barethan, no. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. I think it's 29 rubles. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Putting it on the screen, you can read it. Yeah, good advice from Dave. Dave Abraham says, don't be afraid of reading. First, I was nervous about reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But I started last night. It was very easy to understand. Today, I listened to your book club, half the first chapter. Wonderful. You're right, Dave. Once reading is great. And, maybe in the beginning when you first start reading a lot, it feels difficult, it's slow, and then it gets better and better. Like today. Oh my gosh, today. So, it's just the difference. It depends on the language you come from. So today I did some reading. I read Spanish and I read Japanese. So first I read Japanese. It took me 1 hour to read 1 page. Not even difficult, really. But reading Japanese is so slow and difficult for me. So I'm fighting through this 1 page. 1 page. It took me an hour, almost an hour. So then I'm tired. So I was like, okay. Took a break, and then I got on the train. I was coming home, and I read some Spanish. And in 10 minutes, I read several chapters. It was so fast, But of course, Spanish uses the same letters. So for me, Spanish reading is super easy compared to Japanese. So that matters. It depends on, if you're Chinese, then reading Japanese is pretty easy. And maybe English is more difficult. Thank you, Mohammed Samrani. Well, you're right about this. I can currently speak 6 languages, 3 fluently, 3 low intermediate. Getting to advanced level in one language is much more difficult than reaching A2 or low intermediate. Well, for sure it is. A2 is easy. A2 is very fast. You can do it in just a few months. It's not hard. Depends on the language. Getting to low intermediate might be like in Japanese. Getting to low intermediate is still tough for me. For a lot of English speakers, getting to even just to B1 low intermediate, it takes a lot of work. On the other hand, Spanish getting to B1 not so tough. So. It all depends. We have these different language families, right? So some languages are much closer than others, obviously. So that makes a big difference. Big difference. Here's Maddie again. No, I haven't, Maddie. Maddie says, did you make it to watch El Camino last night? El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie. No, I got to push it back. I'm really busy today. I had to do work, and maybe I thought I was going to get my sister today. Tomorrow I have to get my sister, so probably it will be a little while until I see it. But you'll have to let me know if you liked it. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the new Breaking Bad movie. Any Breaking Bad fans, tell me, what do you think? Good, bad? Oh, this is a good question. Oh, man. I wish my wife was here. Please, how do you cope with your bad mood? I think it happens to you sometimes. Yes, it does. Of course it does. I get in a bad mood, yes. Especially when I have, no sleep, which recently is a lot. How do I cope with it? That's a hard question. How do I cope with my bad mood? Honestly, what I do is I kind of try to get it out. Right, instead of not trying to hold it in or force myself to change. So I will just sometimes say a lot of bad words, and just let it out for a little while, 5-10 minutes, and then just try to calm down after that. Or the other thing, really the big thing that helps me is physical exercise. Honestly, is personally just my own strategy. If I'm in a bad mood, the number one thing that helps, number one is exercise, and number two is rest. Sometimes a lot of times I have a bad mood because I'm tired, right? In fact, I'd say probably that's most of the time for me. physically tired and I just need to rest. And so instead of forcing myself to stay awake and do things and being in a bad mood, like a nap, take a nap, or even not a nap, just rest, just lay on the floor, breathe deeply and just take a break. Or go for a nice walk, or go to a coffee shop and have a little coffee, sit, read a book for a little bit. That's the stuff for me. It's kind of, I call it a reset, kind of reset my mood, where I'm feeling really bad and I need something like that. Instead of just keep trying to do what I'm doing, that usually doesn't work, because I usually my mood just stays bad and I just still feel terrible. Like I need a break. I think it's my mind, and probably it's for most people, it's your mind telling you and your body telling you, take a break. So maybe you need better sleep. Maybe you need to take a nap. Maybe just get out, go for a walk, do something different. Lay down, close your eyes, even if you don't sleep. Have a little relaxed, sit in a park, look at the trees, go to a coffee shop, read something positive, things like that. Meditate if you can. Sometimes it's hard to meditate when you're in a bad mood, because that requires some self-discipline. So I find these very kind of, just basically finding a way to rest and relax for 30 minutes, an hour, can make a big, 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 big difference. So those are my strategies for a bad mood. And absolutely, yes, I get in bad moods. Yeah, and Dalal says, actually, listening to me. He does that, or she does that. And I do that too. So I'll listen to somebody, listen to a Tony Robbins video for 20 minutes, for example. And then that I usually feel better after I do something like that. So yeah, listen to something motivational and positive. It's just Tony Robbins and NLP people, they call this a pattern break. Pattern means it's something that happens again and again. And break, it means you want to break the pattern. So when you're in a bad mood, it means you're stuck. You're stuck in some kind of bad pattern, right? You're in your mind, you're thinking about negative stuff again and again and again. In your body, maybe it's your body's tired or has too much tension, too much stress, and it's just again and again. It's like a on repeat. So what you need to do is you got to break that repeat, right? You break the pattern somehow. And you break the pattern by doing something very different. So you force your mind to focus on something else. You force your body to change how it's feeling, what it's doing, the energy level, right? So that's what it is. That's basically what I'm describing, is a pattern break. You can do a pattern break by relaxing, just taking a nap, going to sleep, sitting quietly. Or you can take a pattern break. You can do a pattern break kind of the opposite extreme, which is where you just super energize your body, where you do hard exercise. This is one I will do too, like go for a hard run, lift heavy weights. I'd say, I would say number one would be lift some heavy weights. Do a hard strength workout, right? Or a fast, hard running or a cardio workout. One of those two. But a higher intensity, not just a relaxed jog. That's okay. That might help. Like I said, many times just walking's enough. But if I feel really, 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 really bad, really, really, really terrible mood, hard exercise will break the pattern. You cannot think about something negative when you're lifting a heavy weight over your head. Okay? You can't do it because you'll drop it. And so, something like that, or a hard deadlift, hard, heavy squats, that will destroy a bad mood. It will just break it in an instant. So that's my best advice. AJ, you should make a show with Brendan Burchard. I like Brendan. He's a very nice guy. Yeah, like Ibad says, going for a walk in nature should help you calm down. That's a great one. Really nice. Get out in nature. That's a big, big, powerful one. Today my mom fell into a bad mood. She told me many nasty things. I almost said something back, but I got myself and went for a run. Perfect. Good for you. Oh, Paulika with an interesting idea. We could create something like the Ancient Book Club. Use ancient sources, Caesar's Gallic or Civil War, Herodot, Tacitus, classic authors. That would be kind of cool. I'd be interested in that. The Iliad, the Odyssey, right? The Aeneid. Even things like a little more less ancient, but like Dante, a little more medieval, but that's still pretty old. That would be kind of cool. In English translations, of course. I'll think about that one. Probably remind me of that. Okay, Manuel says, do you recommend most people go overseas to study at a university in America? No. Nowadays, most people are fixated to go to America because they say it's a good life there. Oh, I don't recommend it. No, American universities suck. They suck. They're terrible. There are some exceptions in some areas, but overall, all that money, so much money, I wouldn't do it. I think it's a bad idea. It's a good life in America. Coming to an end. Bad things are coming to America. I would not go there. There's a reason I'm not there, and that's one of them. This is interesting. Vladimir says a lot of medical workers and surgeons wear glasses. That's interesting. I don't know why. At an eye surgery clinic. That's maybe because they're focused on these little tiny, the surgeons at least have to focus in really on these small little things. Maybe that's why. You should ask them. Maybe they have an opinion about it. Yeah, your question made me laugh, Maya. It did. I laughed because my wife has to deal with my bad mood sometimes. The Joker movie, Emmanuel, again. What do you think of the new Joker movie? I haven't seen it. Honestly, I don't want to see it. It looks like garbage. It's a bad influence to adolescents. Seems ridiculous. Most people claim it influences for a rampage or attack other people. I don't know if that, but I just think it's violent garbage, is from what I've seen of the previews and stuff. It just has no good message to it. It's just, I don't want to see it. That's an interesting question. Is an output hypothesis better than input hypothesis? During the latter, you speak and listen in the same occasion. It's okay. The argument is that when you try to output, meaning you speak too soon, that you create a lot of bad habits. And the other thing is that when you're trying to speak too soon, you're stressed out and you're not really listening. Because you're in your mind, you're just thinking about what you're going to say next because you need so much effort to think about what to say. You're not really paying attention carefully to the listening. And that's true. I think that is true because I've had that experience where it's hard to listen carefully when if I'm trying to do Spanish, I'm just thinking about what I'm going to say, and my listening's not so good. If I just listen, then my listening is much better. And like right now, I don't want to. And the stress part is a big one. And this depends on personality, too. But I just find that I like a long time to listen for a while. There's no stress. It's easy and relaxed. Yeah, like Elena says, good coffee and an effortless English show can change your mood. Hyder says, where have you been yesterday? Is it a good sentence in English or not? I mean, it is. Where have you been yesterday? It's not so common. It's more common to say, what did you do yesterday? Where did you go yesterday? Where were you yesterday? Yeah, those would be more common. Probably more what you're trying to say. Oh, Vladislav. Okay, why not? Today's any topic day. So Vladislav says, what was the eye surgery like for you? What did you feel during and after? Okay, so here's what it's like. If you're he says he's thinking of this surgery. So you lay down on this thing, and they put this cup on your eye, like this machine thing, kind of on your eye, and it's just pressure. It's not pain. They put these drops in your eyes so you don't feel pain. But it's just a little uncomfortable is what it is. It's not painful. It's just this thing that's really like pressing, to keep your head and to keep your eye in one position. So it is uncomfortable. And then there's this little machine comes, right? And it goes beep, 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 beep. And you kind of, basically you don't see anything. Your eye, you kind of lose the eyesight for a minute in that eye. And then they make the changes and they take that thing off. You can see, and then they go and they do it to the other eye. But then afterwards, your like eyesight's not good. It's kind of not clear, and maybe a little bit of like almost not pain, but kind of a little pain, kind of achy. So they give you some pain pills. You go home. Best thing to do is you sleep. You have to wear these little glasses, to keep so that your eyes don't get too much light. You're supposed to not use your eyes for like 12 hours, I think. So I went home, I went to sleep, and I woke up. For I think one day I wore the little glasses, and that's all. And then gradually my eyes got more clear, and I've got really good eyesight. I can look really far away, and I'm happy with it. It depends. Do research, make sure you get a very good doctor with good recommendations from people, but I'm happy with it. It was good. Do you force yourself to read books? What do you do when you don't want to read? In a foreign language, I guess. I don't. I'm very much. Maybe it's laziness. If I'm being philosophical, to excuse my laziness, but I don't like forcing myself to do stuff too much. Some things, okay, occasionally yes, but overall, I just find it doesn't work. Because it can work short term, but long term, it just doesn't work for me. So I read when I'll have an idea. I'll kind of like, okay, I'm going to try to read, like today, the Japanese. But quite honestly, I kind of did force myself today. I should have probably just stopped because it was too difficult what I was trying to read, and I got frustrated and bored. And so I'm not going to try that. That book, I'm stopped. I'm not going to continue with that book. It's too much right now. I find it frustrating. I find it much easier. Now, part of it was a book, a physical book. So I had to use a dictionary typing, and with Japanese, that is even more difficult. I find it much easier to read Japanese electronically with like on that NJ subtitle site. I can just click the character or the word, and it shows me a meaning. It's very easy. I can do that in Link, which I also use. I think for Japanese reading, I'm just going to do that only. I'm just going to read on those two websites because they're very easy on the internet. I can just click and see the meaning and the pronunciation very fast. A paper book in Japanese, even though it's easy, it's for students and like low level, it's still too frustrating and slow for me. I get bored, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to force myself to do that. So no, I don't like to force myself. And it's the same in Spanish. It's just, for Spanish, it's not so tough because of the letters are the same. So I can read a book in Spanish, kind of just normal books, which is nice. It's a lot more fun. Hari Cho says, do you like movies? Yeah, some. Not many recent movies. I think Hollywood, at least. I think Hollywood, since 2000, 2001, 2002, that's a long time, that's like the last, 10, 15 years, Hollywood sucks. I can't think of a movie I like from Hollywood in the last 15 years. kind of late 90s, early 2000s. That's the last time where I can see, oh yeah, here's some good movies. After that, Hollywood really has become garbage. There are a few. A very few. Right, Pazzini says, good point. From my experience, I see here in Brazil, speaking English is worth much more than many college degrees. Absolutely. Real skills are more useful than paper. Now, there's some exceptions, unfortunately, but that's the truth. A lot of college degrees are garbage. And honestly, my college degrees are mostly garbage too. It's the truth. I didn't learn anything. Now, they helped me get a little bit better jobs at the time. But when I really look at it, what did I learn? My first degree, undergraduate degree in journalism, I learned nothing. Nothing useful. And my social work degree, master's degree, I learned nothing. And my teaching master's, I did learn some stuff. It was a pretty good program. It was a little different than others. But, however, it was very, very, very expensive. I could have learned those same things independently by myself, reading a few books, watching a few videos for almost free instead of spending, $30,000. So, overall, real skills. Okay, well, it's a good question. DGGD says, shall I read more or listen more to speak continuously? So fluency, listening. Reading will help vocab mostly. If you're kind of wondering what's the difference between those two, reading is the vocabulary builder, okay? In general, we're talking about speaking, right? Mostly speaking. That, learning lots of new words and phrases, reading is number one. That's the best way to do it. However, reading with fluency, it might help a little, but it's listening that will help you speak more fluently and, of course, will help you understand. So lots of listening. Yeah, and see, this is the same problem Faishan Rao is having. Despite significant improvements in comprehension, reading is not helping me generate output. Exactly, because reading is more of a vocab builder. It will help your writing. Faishan, it will help your writing. But for your speaking, it'll help some. But really what you want to do for your speaking is, number one, huge amount of listening, always. And the second thing you need to do is do some kind of like shadowing type of thing to really get the speaking practice, right? Get your mouth moving, get used to it. So shadowing, which is also a kind of listening. But just pure listening only, and then also do shadowing. I think that'll help you. And you seem like you have a Chinese name, I'm guessing, so I think that'll help. Okay, a few more. So you can see I'm just chatting, guys. I'm just casual. I think I'm almost done, though. I gotta get going. I'm gonna call my wife and see my babies. Oh, yeah, Majid, what's your take on Alfred Hitchcock? He's my favorite director by far. Yeah, good director. He made some very good movies. North by Northwest, really like that one. What are some other good ones? There's so many. He made a lot of really good movies, interesting movies. So Hitchcock is good. The English in Alfred Hitchcock movies is still good. It's still modern English, without not so much modern slang, but I think that's fine. No problem. You could watch Hitchcock movies, are great. Have you ever heard about the Dalai Lama from Tibet? Yes, I've seen him speak, actually. Oh, here's another movie. We're talking about movies today. Let's see. Have you seen the movie Cloud Atlas? I did see it, yes. What do you think about this one? It was interesting. Yeah, it was really interesting. It's about like reincarnation. I like movies like that. I like because they're not the formula. Hollywood movies have a formula. I mean, a very, very specific formula. So 98% of Hollywood movies are just so predictable and the same, and they suck. So anytime they do a movie that's somewhat creative and doesn't follow the formula, Cloud Atlas, the movie, has some problems, I think. I've heard the book is much, much, much better, which is usually the true. But overall, I'd say it was an interesting movie. It was interesting, which is great, which is fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. It was an interesting movie. Yeah, like Khalifi says, this again gets back to knowing yourself, that the most important thing that helps us be successful in different parts of life is knowing ourselves well, what makes us in a good mood or bad mood. Then we act. Yep, that's right. Managing yourself, knowing yourself, mastering yourself. Very big. Why is Finland the happiest country in the world? Well, I don't know that it is, really. Okay, so now we're going, this is a fasting question. Anthony, I'm a great fan of yours. Do you think dry fasting could reverse the side effects of acne medication? I feel bad since the day I took it. Maybe. It's possible. I'm not a super expert on fasting. I think you should check out the Snake Diet channel, Cole Robinson. I'm trying to remember if he's talked about acne before. I'm not sure, but I think you could try it because I believe that in general, dry fasting can be helpful to your skin, can be good for skin. So you might watch that Snake Diet channel and you got to watch a lot of his videos and find a dry fasting routine that works for you. So with dry fasting, fasting in general, but the dry fasting, you have to, it depends. Like if you're fat or if you're really thin, then you have to do it differently. Like if you're fat, you can just dry fast, you can water fast, for a long, long, long time. It's no problem. But if you're kind of thin, then you have to do it a little different because, you can't lose a lot of weight. It's dangerous. So you have to, maybe you do like a 2-day dry fast and then you eat a big meal and maybe eat for, normally for 2 days and then do a 2-day dry fast again. Something like that. And you might have to do that you might have to do it for a long time, many months. But you can try it out. It won't kill you. Dry fasting's good for you. So overall, it'll be good for you to do something like that. This is weird. It's a strange comment. Walk like an Egyptian, talk like an American. What do you say about this? Is that from a song? Walk like an Egyptian. There's that song from the Bangles back when I was in high school. I have no idea what this means. I have no idea. What does that mean? Walk like an Egyptian. What does that mean? And talk like an American. Never heard that before. Manuel, I got a last question. I hope you can answer. I know a person who has been always given a raw deal at school. Oh, okay. Bullied or just bad grades and bad experiences with the class? Hasn't recovered yet. He's traumatized. Barely wants to talk to folks. Okay, now this sucks. That's one reason I hate schools, because this happens to people. So if his confidence is low, he doesn't want to talk to people. I would say he's got to focus on himself for a while in a positive way. So he's got to build himself up, lift weights, tell him to start training, lifting weights or doing, he could do calisthenics, but focus on his body first, physical strength, get in really good physical condition and especially strength. Don't run marathons. Lift heavy weights, get stronger, build some muscle. Number 1. Number 2, make his mind stronger. Meditation and other ways of self-discipline. And he might try, for that, he could do physical things like running long distances or triathlons. Those are good for mental toughness because, you got to go for a long time. So build strength, build that mental toughness, that self-discipline. You could even try doing something like learning a language like you are. That requires self-discipline. So I think making himself stronger and more confident, feeling good about himself. Also then with, if he has problems with girls, then I would recommend he read books like The Rational Male series and other books like that, just to let him start to understand how to attract women and how to be more confident with women. So that's what I would say, and this will help him just socially in general. And number 4, public speaking. Public speaking. Have him take read that Dale Carnegie book, The Art of Public Speaking. Join Toastmasters or a Dale Carnegie course. And this will also build his confidence. So that's what I would recommend, those things. So physical strength training, lift weights. Lift weights is probably the best one. Deadlifts, squats, the big, heavy movements. And then mental toughness, that could be endurance, like running and triathlons. It could be martial arts. Maybe learn jujitsu. That would be a good one. Join a jujitsu. That would be really good. Really good. Have him join like a jiu-jitsu gym or mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, anything like that. That's a good one for mental toughness too. And then, socially, Rational Male for women and public speaking. Have him do that for a few years, and he's going to get over that trauma. He's going to build up his own self-confidence again. His own power. And then from there, then he'll become more social, I think. I don't know the details, so that's kind of all I can say right now. Liana, can you one day make a topic about religion? I do talk about religion, spirituality. I have a guest, Archaya G, who comes on and talks about those topics. I talk about Dharma and natural law, and I've talked about, I think most recently, I did talk about the Psalms from the Bible. So I talk about that topic sometimes. Yeah, Tron, this is a good question. This is a good point. You should collect all the same questions you've answered and make a list. Frequently asked questions. I should, because I do get a lot of the same ones again and again and again. So that's sometimes, guys, you have to realize too, if you're watching live, especially if you're new to this channel and I'm ignoring your question, you're like, why is he ignoring my question? Either, number 1, it might not be connected to the topic. Today, that's not a problem because there's no topic. But the other reason I ignore questions is I've answered them like 100 times already. And it's the same question I've already answered again and again and again. If you just watch my old videos, you will see me answer that same question again and again and again. And so often I will just ignore those questions because I've already answered them 1,000 times. And people who listen to my show a lot probably get tired of hearing me answer them. All right, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to go. Hope you had a good day. It was nice chatting with you. Tomorrow, no show. Tomorrow I have, knock on wood. Good luck from the airplanes and the weather and all that. Hopefully tomorrow my sister does arrive on time and I will be getting her at the airport So no show tomorrow, and then next week, I don't know. I'll be hosting my sister, like helping with my sister and my niece visiting Japan for 1 week. So have a good week. I'll try to do a show if I can. If I get back early one night, I'll try to do a show sometimes. So just watch my Gab, my social media. It's gab.com, AJ Hogue. If you're watching on video, see it on the screen now. Gab.com. Follow me there. I will tell you if I'm doing a show soon. Okay. Lots of love to you. Thanks for joining me tonight for this kind of casual chat. See you next time. Oh, and go to effortlessenglishclub.com. Join my VIP program.